Welcome in to a Tuesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Ghost Chevrolet.
Hey, I didn't mean to
Depressing
start like
times,
that. That
man.
was an awful start.
Nah, it's not. It just kind of is, man. It is what it is.
what it
Depressing
is.
times right now in our city, man. All around South Louisiana. I mean, the crime is out of control. We were talking about what's happened over the weekend at, is it Town Center or Perkins Row? It's Perkins Row, what I'm thinking
It's the one
about.
with the movies.
Where the parking lot, parking garage.
Yeah, the Cinemark Perkins Row.
Yeah, you can't park in that garage.
Sheesh, obviously not.
Obviously not.
I don't park in
Even
the
if you
garage.
don't, you can end up in the garage.
If you don't know the story, there was a attempted rape and kidnapping over the weekend in Perkins Row that...
Oh, a kidnapping?
Well, yeah, he took her.
He put her into a van.
Oh, I didn't
truck.
know that. I thought y'all meant he did this in the movies.
Crazy story, man. It's
I
a
didn't know he put her
wild
in a
story.
van.
No, he didn't
nuts
Pee Wee
story.
Herman it, where he was, interested in.
It was
don't know
nuts.
about
I mean,
How
it's
Pee Wee
old
just...
is
Herman.
the girl? Do we know?
Oh, that's unreleased, but he was old.
But she was underage? Do we know that?
No, like her age was not released.
Oh, okay.
So I would imagine that I have no clue, but they weren't supposed to be together.
Well, I mean, just judging by the demographic of that area, I mean, that's usually a young person, young
Right.
people that are always frequently there. I mean, it's just...
My people are there.
Crazy times, man. It's just nuts right now in our city, in our state, throughout everything that is going on. So I hate to get off on a start like that, but
She
we're just
jumped out
talking
the
about-
car.
Yeah, she
She
jumped
did?
out of the car.
Good
She
for
did.
her.
Yeah, that. It's like taken.
Well, the boyfriend
like
came out with
With a strap.
with some heat.
Yeah.
Yeah, fired a shot or two. I
Oh,
think.
he
I mean,
did?
yeah,
This is all in Perkins Row?
Right next to me.
I know.
it's wild, man.
Gun violence here is crazy.
It's wild. We obviously we moved into our new studio on January 1st, and it was a couple of weeks back. We were here, or we weren't here. Our actually our lawn crew was here handling the lawn in the yard
A-Bears.
on a Sunday. Yeah, shout out to A-Bears Lawn Service. And Blake Abear, it was like, this isn't funny. I mean, it's really not funny,
No,
but
it's
just like
not.
the nature of the call. I mean, he's like, bro, we're just finishing up, and somebody just got shot in front of the spot. I mean, like, somebody's like dead at a car light at the stoplight right now, sitting in their car, and I'm like, say what?
On a Sunday morning.
It was like Sunday afternoon, and come to find me, like 30 minutes later on Twitter, you see two people got shot in downtown Baton Rouge, and one person gets shot on Government Street, and that happened to be like right in front of the studio. And it's just wild. I mean, you're always looking over your shoulder. I've been coming up to the studio. I get in here about 4:30 in the morning.
You're playing a dangerous game.
Yeah, you are.
And I'm
That's the witching hour over
constantly
here.
looking over my shoulder. And this morning on my bike ride, I got on the bike. I got here a little earlier this morning because I just couldn't sleep. And I got on the bike probably about 4:35. And there was a police walking up to somebody's door responding to what looked like some type of
Call.
Yeah, because he had like the spotlight on and he had the flashlight on.
Around here.
Yeah, it was like 3 blocks from here. But I mean, it's just, you're always looking over your shoulder. I mean, and it's not just in the areas that you would
Expect,
normally do
right.
that. Yeah, I mean, it's happening all over the place. I think that would be a big surprise to people to see that type of crime happen in Perkins Row parking garage. You know what I mean? Like, I was talking to somebody who was handling a job interview a couple of weeks back, and this give you an idea of just the shock of people when they come down here and see how crime riddled this city and state has become, and especially this part of the state, and just its acceptance of it, right? Like, I mean, the mayor president of this city, the mayor of New Orleans, I mean, there's no forward stance on trying to right this. There's nothing there's no proaction that's being taken to try and prevent the amount. I mean, these numbers are just going up, right? I mean, like every year they're continuing to increase.
Because nobody's scared.
Yeah, nobody's
They're not
scared. But I
scared
mean,
of
to give you an
anything.
idea just of an outsider, there was I know somebody who was in the executive committee over at Blue Cross Blue Shield, and they were hiring a new human relations director, new HR director at Blue Cross Blue Shield on the Friday that they had the shooting in the intersection of the Mall of Louisiana at Bluebonnet and the mall right there. And obviously that shooting happened at like 11 a.m., 11:30 in the morning. I mean, just kind of prime time movement. There's a ton of people moving around that time. Lunchtime, you got restaurants. People are kind of moving out and about. And the interviewee, who was, one of the tops on the list for the job, is leaving a hotel that's right there at that intersection. And, I mean, just times it almost perfectly where he's taking, like, the left turn at the light as, this car is being shot up in the middle of a busy, regularly trafficked every single day intersection. And the guy called Blue Cross Blue Shield, which was, 2 minutes away from the hotel. I mean, it was a 5-minute car ride, and didn't even go to Blue Cross Blue Shield. Just said, hey, my wife and I have made a U-turn. We're jumping on the interstate. We're heading back to the airport. We've got this same interview in like Tulsa.
Are you kidding?
No,
So
it was
he's
like
not even gonna
didn't even
attempt to
take
work
the
here.
interview. Didn't I mean like
Jeez.
this is a high paying
Yeah, it
6-figure salary with a one of the most probably the most solid company in the
Yeah,
state. I mean, if
yeah.
it's not the most solid company in the state, it's up there. And a great opportunity for this this young person and his family, and they just cut a U-turn. You know what I mean? It was like, it ain't
good.
worth this,
All
man.
good here.
I mean, are you kidding me?
That's insane.
Coming from somewhere that this is just, and then you hear the leaders speak about it, and it's just, man, it's nuts right now
Yeah, it is.
in South Louisiana. I mean, I saw last weekend was the most violent weekend in New Orleans since the mid 90s.
Are you serious?
Had 18 people shot.
Good Lord.
Was something
in
going
one
on
weekend.
last weekend?
Nah, just
Demon Tom.
NOLA, baby.
I mean,
It's
scary.
It's nuts.
Welcome
man.
in.
well, and you can't do anything. David was like, get them to walk you to your car every time you leave the office. I'm like, my car, I could jump to my car from the back door. And I was like, I can't dodge a bullet. No one can. Like, you can walk me everywhere you want to,
Yeah.
but you can't dodge bullets. It's
is,
insane,
it's nuts, man.
right?
If they got you from the steps to the car, I mean, there's I don't know what we could do.
Nothing.
It's like
That's
two
my
steps.
point.
Yeah,
Nothing.
nothing.
You can't. I mean, there was a shooting a month ago in front of Mercy Church on a Sunday morning. I mean, like,
not a
there's-
shooting. I mean, like a
Unloading.
shootout.
Yeah, it was a shootout
I mean, it was like 100 rounds, man.
in a car. That was crazy.
It's wild.
It
is. It's nuts. I mean, you wonder how much you start to change your lifestyle. I mean, I'm thinking of
What do you
that,
do?
and yeah, right. Like I'm thinking of that as you ride the bike at 5:00 in the morning. But I mean, like it's the only day that you can really get true physical activity in, and want to have that as a part of your routine and a part of your daily regimen. But I mean, you very much feel open. You know what I mean? Like you just feel very
Exposed.
I
Yeah.
mean, walking out of this office with the bike at like 4:45 in the morning is nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I bet.
You know what I mean? Like it is head on a swivel. You know what I mean? Like
That's the real pre-workout.
Yeah.
absolutely, it really is. I mean, it's just trying to get out of the door.
I
Yeah.
literally just had a thing from the Advocate pop up that said police investigating death of woman on Sherwood Forest last night as homicide.
Yeah, like I mean, they found a dead
Literally, just
body
right
in
now.
Sherwood Towers on Sherwood Forest. I read that same report. I mean, that's like where I was taking that mortgage test.
Yes,
It's
that's
right.
right.
It's right where that was happening. I mean, and like Sherwood Forest at one point in this town was like a major thoroughfare. Like I mean, it was almost like Main Street.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, like I think of some of the successful businesses that either have been or still operate on Sherwood Forest,
Yeah.
kind of under the pretense of, you were kind of in the middle of commerce. You were kind of in the middle of everything. But I mean, to see what has happened to that part of the city, to see what's happened to other parts. I mean, at one point, Florida Boulevard was Main Street, right? I mean, Airline Highway. Now there's parts of those that, I mean, it looks like a third world country.
Yeah, it
I mean, it really does. I mean,
It
it just
does.
looks so uninhabited. There's no movement. There's no. It's a sad time.
It is.
Right now for
Scary time.
our city, for our state, for our region, for our country. I mean, just for our world. I mean, everything that's going on. I don't even know how we got here. I mean, welcome
How
in.
did we?
Welcome in.
For God's
No wonder
sakes.
Corey Connor's in the portal.
Hey, and look, do not think that other coaches are not recruiting towards this. I mean,
Oh, absolutely. They
I
have
know
been.
I know firsthand that. I mean, the recruitment around Astruma's Le'Veon Moss was get out of Baton Rouge, get out of the city. There's nothing good that's going to happen for you in Baton Rouge, whether you're LSU's running back or you're, on the streets. It ain't going to be good for you. And he was sold that. And now people like Saban, Kirby Smart, who are really, a couple of steps ahead as recruiters, they're pulling crime records from Baton Rouge, New Orleans, South Louisiana, and just putting them on the coffee table in front of parents.
That'll do it.
And they're saying, because the parents' first question is, are you going to protect my son? Yeah, I am. Baton Rouge is not. LSU may have all of these securities and protocols put in place, but the city is still a zoo. It's wild. And don't think that LSU is not being undercut in recruiting on that.
Well, I think there were specific instances about that. I feel like we talked about this last year during some recruiting time too, right?
Yes,
there were-
Le'Veon Moss.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
But there's others. I mean, there's
Yeah.
this has now become routine. I think that the crime and the rate of crime in both, cities like New Orleans and Baton Rouge, who are pumping out talented athletes every single year, this has now become commonplace in recruiting strategy for people like Jimbo Fisher and Nick Saban and Lane Kiffin and Kirby Smart. The best, the elite, the people who do it best understand that, hey, you want to get in with the mom? Let them know. The safest way to protect your son is to get him out of the city. Especially for a kid like Moss, who's grown up here, knows a lot of people, has a lot of people that are around him, has a lot of people around him that probably wouldn't want to see him succeed. And that's what they're recruiting against.
That's sad.
And people are getting shot up all over this city. There are no crime lines anymore, it feels like. Crime was always isolated to a couple of zip codes. Now, people are getting shot up in the intersection of the mall. And you can't sit outside and have a lunch on a 75-degree day because you might get hit by a stray bullet.
It's so dumb.
A 1-year-old, an infant, got hit by a stray bullet on Sherwood Forest over the weekend.
Did they die?
They're in critical care right now. They may have. I don't know if it's been announced yet, but I mean, they were definitely in critical care at some point.
Well, didn't a 3-year-old get hit by a bullet like in her bed last week? Was that last week? Remember that story? I can't remember where that was. It was here, but I think she died just in her bed from a drive-by stray bullet.
Yeah, I mean, it's happening.
I don't get it.
Brian Burgess, leave it to Jordy to turn this into something very negative. Spin it positive, Brian.
Yeah, we can't help it.
I mean, where is the positive of the murder rate right now in New Orleans and Baton Rouge? Help me out, man. Find the silver line for me. Because, I mean, I'm from here. I love representing where we're from, who we are. But, I mean, this is a scary place right now, man. I mean, it's wild out there right now, man.
Yeah.
Daily The Culotta Show is brought to you by Go Chevrolet. Remember, online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. Find our friends out in LaPlace and on Florida Boulevard and Sherwood Forest if you're looking for used car lots. Go Express Auto Sales. Also brought to you by True Blue Water. Check them out if you want to get it on the delivery route today. TRUBluewater.com. TRUBluewater.com is where you can find them. Metropolitan Health Group bringing you our phone line every day. We're going to talk to Ross Dellenger, who inked an SI cover article on Brian Kelly. A really good article on Kelly talking about leaving Notre Dame, landing in Baton Rouge, the challenges that he's had since he's been here, and what the outlook is under his direction. We'll talk to Ross Dellenger at 8:15 this morning. We've also got a text into Perry Berry.
PB.
The former star and standout with the Cajun program. Still looks like he can hit 300.
No doubt.
His son, obviously, Jacob Berry, one of the contenders for National Player of the Year, SEC Player of the Year, transferred in from Arizona. We will talk to him. We have a text into him. And we'll hopefully talk to him at some point before we get out of here at 9 a.m. this morning. So make sure and hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that comment button if you don't mind, as we'll be here until 9 a.m. this morning, and we'll talk to Ross Dellenger at 8:15. And if you have not read Delly's article, Stewie, let's link that. It's in the document if you want to put it inside of the chat, and you want to find it and read it before we talk to Dellenger at 8:15. If you have not already done so, I would say, man, I hope you do, because it's a great read. Obviously, Dellenger, very talented writer.
The cover alone is worth at least looking at.
Well,
My
I mean, the
goodness.
art.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
the cover of the, I guess Sports Illustrated, however they're doing digital media now, but this is awesome.
It's a great read, and yes, it's a very colorful.
That's it. I don't know if
Right
Brian
up.
Kelly would have thought this would be this is what they would depict of him, but this is where he is right now. Let's go, dude. Have a little bit of fun.
Kelly is. I think the story on Kelly is people are curious of what this is going to do for LSU, what it's going to do for Brian Kelly. Everybody that Dellenger talks to in this article, and he talks to former coaches that have coached along with Kelly. They've got coaches on the current staff like Brian Polian, who are quoted in here with Brian Kelly's story. Talk about just how much success and how good of a communicator and how good of an organizer that Brian Kelly is, and what he comes to LSU lacking on his resume only as a national championship, and how he has to really turn LSU in to a consistent winner. The 19 years, 3 head coaches, national champions, but the inconsistent ride that LSU football has been on in those 19 years is something that Kelly has been brought in to stabilize and really, try and set on track to attain consistent winning. And the article is really cool on, his first visit with Will Campbell's dad. That was his first recruiting visit in Louisiana as LSU's head coach. Was going up to Monroe and eating some etouffee at the Campbell's
Throwing
house.
down a couple beers.
Drinking beers. I wonder how many beers Bull Campbell
Gets
crushes.
put down, and Brian Kelly's like, I don't want to get into a contest with this
God,
man.
yeah, man.
He's
I
had
just-
4, and BK's on 1.
And it talks about Kelly kind of walking in and putting his foot in his mouth immediately, with Campbell's mom, asking her if she was the one that was cooking the etouffee, and it was on Kelly kind of talking about how he had not given the room enough time to realize that Bull Campbell, the dad, was actually the cook, and he thought that he had to make up a lot of recruiting ground there. It's just good stories to kind of look back on the last couple of months from LSU's football's point of view, and how they got here, and how they got to this point with Kelly now wrapping up the first week of spring practice, the last week of spring practice under his direction in the first year. And it also talked about, I don't even know if the people within the organization, it definitely seems like Brian Kelly didn't have a grasp on it, but even the people that were selling the job, right? Stephanie Rimp, Scott Woodward, Verge Alsbury, and the executive committee for LSU, the amount of organizational disarray that LSU football was in, I think, was underestimated by everybody in this equation. Really, Brian Kelly, obviously. He talked about the organizational health of the program being the worst that he's ever seen. and it's 40 years of coaching. It's a hell of a grind. It's a hell of a, experiences that he's gained along the way. And when he got to Baton Rouge, he looked at the state of LSU football and said, my God, this is as bad as I've ever seen as far as just the organization of the program, right? Like protocols and, people as far as working orders go.
I would imagine just the day-to-day.
Everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it seemed like, departments were screwed up. Nobody had official, were working within their official titles. Nobody had chain of commands. Nobody knew where to start. I mean, as a young business owner right now in the infancy of starting an organization and hoping to build and develop something that can thrive into the long term. I mean, what I am struggling with as, kind of the top of the chain in right now is placing organizational strategy to the day-to-day operations of the program.
It's harder than y'all think.
It's a lot harder and this is on a very granular level.
Right.
I mean, a football program at the college level, in the SEC West that wins national championships at a school like LSU. I mean, it could be so overwhelming that you just push away. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
I'm not doing this. I don't even know where to start. And it looks like that web was so entangled and just so crossed over of, disorganization and people not understanding their role, where they fit in, what the message was supposed to be, all of that stuff that, goes into running a very clear-cut, organized program was what LSU was sincerely lacking. Like they were just they were so far behind the competition. And I think NIL is something that we could probably look at and use it as an example, but that would cross over to a multitude of divisions within the program: recruiting, roster management, nutrition, off-season, weight program, everything that goes into running a college football program. While LSU was having, success, it wasn't sustained because it just wasn't organized.
Yeah.
It just wasn't, there was no structure to it. And you can bring Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow and Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Patrick Queen and Christian Fulton and, Grant Delpit and
Justin Jefferson,
all these guys, and they can cover up a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? I mean, you bring those guys in and you're like, well, we don't really have that figured out yet. You're like, well, you got Joe Burrow and you're okay. He can cover it up. So, outside of those 2 years, you kind of take those out as the outlier, right? And kind of look at the whole dysfunction of the program and understand just what Kelly is tasked with trying to put together. And by all accounts, in what Dellenger writes up and some of the, the evidence that he backs it up with people that have been alongside him, to people that have seen him do what he is being asked to do in Baton Rouge, he seems like a great fit. He really does. He seems like and I know that we've said this before, but, just reacting to the story and now having, only 1 week left to judge what he's doing on the field after seeing him through these spring drills, he very much feels like the right guy at the right time for LSU football. To come in here and really just kind of flip it on its head, smoke out all of the, uncommitted and unaware of what the job entails and what the job is being asked of them to do, and find structures and put procedures in place with the right people and, continue to recruit and develop at a high level. And that has always been a scary scenario for LSU's competition. I think everybody has known since Nick Saban has left that if that guy would have stayed, LSU would have been Alabama. And if they ever find the guy who can figure it out, he may not be Saban, but they'll always be a player. They can be Clemson, where every single year you got to worry about them making a run at a national championship, making a run at an SEC title, and just being relevant. And I think once Kelly can figure out the back office stuff, which, like I said, I don't even know if the people selling the job knew how screwed up it was.
I don't think they did.
But now you have an idea when you got the guy in place that says, hey, look, we got to get into that corner over there and we got to start, peeling back the onion and throwing away the trash and throwing away the stuff that doesn't work and finding the ways and finding the things that do work. And I think that, he's done that. He's done that in the short term. Does it mean he wins 10 games in year one? No, it doesn't. But to me, the long term of it, and that's why it's a scary situation for a guy like Kayshawn right now. And I'm not getting into the vehicle stuff because I don't know the details of it. Sure, I've heard and I've seen, and there's nothing official that's being reported, so we're not going to talk about rumors over
Well, they
here.
haven't even said his name in the paper, right?
No.
They haven't even listed who he is, that it's him.
Right. But the scary proposition for me looking at Kayshawn is that, hey, Brian Kelly's got a 10-year deal. Brian Kelly is secure in that he's going to be here 5, 6, 7 years from now. Kayshawn sat right there and said he's really only here for one more year. And I don't think that surprised anybody by hearing that. But what it tells Brian Kelly and the staff is that we're going to be here for 10. Or at least contractually, that's what it says we're going to be here for. We're going to be here for a long time. We're not going to spin our wheels on trying to motivate what could possibly be the best player in college football for just one season of production. If this is what it's going to be, and I'm not saying that there's any, but you can tell by some of the comments that Kelly has made about Kayshawn, about, hey, we know his last name now, kind of like, oh, we kind of see him around more. And then Kayshawn's comments when he sat here and said a couple of things. I just think that, that's where Brian Kelly is. Like, hey, look, man, whether you're our best player or you're a walk-on, we're not waiting on you. We're not waiting on you to say, okay, I get it now. I'll tag along.
Was that wrong of him to say that he would only be here for another year?
No,
No,
I don't think so. But it shows you his mentality.
Right.
And it shows you where he is.
Yeah.
And I don't, like I said, that's surprising to nobody. Nobody heard that at LSU. No fan heard that and said, wow, Kayshawn's planning on leaving after his third year. I think everybody expected that.
I know, but
But now the
just
chips are on the
announce it like
table.
that?
You know what I mean? It's out loud. You know what I mean? It's been said. And Kelly knows that the short-term hurdles are not worth the long-term vision, right? Like if you can't buy in right now, then, I'm not saying that he's going to throw Kayshawn off the team, and I'm not even saying that Kayshawn's at a point where that's the discussion. But there has been points where there's been a lot of push and pull, it feels like, between Kayshawn and LSU up to this point.
Yep.
And the stories of Dwight McGlothern and the stories of Trey Palmer, those have to resonate inside the walls of that locker room. Where Ross Dellenger writes a little bit about it. He doesn't name them, but he says early on, guys that were late to workouts, didn't show up to the nutrition center on time, didn't show up to the academic support on time. Simple. I need your iPad, clean your locker out. Doesn't matter who you are, what type of player you are. If you're not bought in, they can't wait on you in year one.
Did they even get another chance? Or did he just kicked him out and that was it?
I don't.
I don't know, but it did seem like Brian Kelly's not going to sacrifice his core principles for anybody.
it
Like
does
he's
seem like
letting.
that. He shouldn't.
No, you shouldn't. I mean, a lot of coaches could come into a situation like LSU where you don't really know anything, but you got players already on the roster, like guys that, especially the way that it was left, the one or two guys that you do need on the team are probably going to be people you're going to have to massage and work with. And instead, Brian Kelly said, "No, I'm not." Yeah, he almost used that as an example for what he's going to set moving forward. Like it was a learning moment for the rest of the locker room because it probably shook them to the core. Had to. I mean, new guy coming in, he could have kowtowed and been like, "Oh, okay, let's let everybody get used to." He's like, "No, I know exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Y'all have to get with me. I'm the head coach." And so it was a moment for him to kind of flex and say, "This is where I stand. This is how my program's going to be. The transfer portal might be for you."
I mean, those are the hard conversations that you have to have inside of college walls and to be relevant in college football. I mean,
he had to look around like, this shit is not going to be how it is.
Right.
Like, whatever y'all are doing right now is not the way it's going to be moving forward. And then by moving forward, I mean starting right now, today.
Yeah.
Like, we're not doing this. Whatever y'all were doing, having, the run of the roost and doing kind of whatever you wanted, that shit, it ends now. And that's what he had to do. You have to put your foot down because the place was a mess.
Well, every player I feel like that has sat here too has agreed with that and liked it and is thriving in that type of discipline.
Structure.
You still see. I think at the end of the day, people want to be disciplined.
Yeah.
They want to be in structure. They want to have, marks that they need to hit to know that they are doing what they're supposed to do. And I think when you have, you saw Major Burns. I mean, we'll talk to Malik Neighbors today. He's going to be through here at around noon. I think those types of players, those guys have really embraced that type of organizational structure. And, a lot of these guys, they need that in their life right now. It's something that I think that they're desperate for. It's almost why you come to a university and a program of this size with all of these with all of this support, with all of these systems put in place, that they're ready to help you, whether it's just become a better football player, become a better student, to become a better person. They've got all these resources and financial commitments to organizations and softwares and nutrition and personnel that can help you out. I think a lot of people want that, right? And I don't know if LSU has had the right boundaries and structure put in place to really execute that. They have the facilities, they have the money, they have, in some circumstances, they have the personnel. Chef Michael Johnson, the head nutritionist at LSU, they got him from the Seattle Seahawks. They opened up a nutrition center and said, who's doing it well? Who's doing it right? Up at Seattle, Paul Allen and those guys have really embraced that. Hire their chef. Johnson was from South Louisiana. He wanted to come home. It made sense. Now he's here. They've got the right people in certain places. Now it's, I think, Kelly's task to really structure that, organize that, build protocol to that, build procedure to that, and now develop and thrive the program in it. Remember, daily, we're brought to you by City Cafe, our friends over at City Cafe, citycafebr.net. Stop in and see our crew over there, Squeaky Miranda, Cody Miranda, Dirk, and the crew. They can help you out today with great lunch specials. They've got great daily lunch specials that you can find out online, citycafebr.net. Citycafebr.net is the website. And you can find them on O'Neill and George O'Neill, where they've been in business for over 100 years. If you're looking for a Sunday brunch, they got great Sunday brunch down in at City Cafe. Citycafebr.net is where you find them on O'Neill and George O'Neill. Find them today. It is Tuesday, so they got the beef pot roast. They've always got the soup and po' boy combo. Give you something for a light meal if you're looking for a turkey wrap, and they also have a fish of the day. So check them out online at citycafebr.net.
So you can read that?
citycafebr.net. Yeah, man.
Oh, so you're all good.
Yeah,
you're all good.
I'm good.
I was like, wait, can you not read it?
No, I can. But we know he went to the Southern Ice, and
Yeah.
then he got his eyes all did up. So I
Right.
didn't know if he was in in lieu for some contacts, but I guess not.
Seems
Not
like
good.
not.
That's a good vision test. Steve, you can read that.
That is
You're
a good vision test.
Remember our friends over at Southern Eye Center who sponsor our poll question of the day. Put it on the poll. Keishon Butte.
Will he play at LSU this year?
How many games does he play? Does he play at all?
Yeah, I think it would be all or none. I don't
Yeah.
think unless it's injury, but
Poll question, obviously brought to you by Southern Eye Center of Baton Rouge on Jefferson Highway. If you mentioned the Jordy Culotta show over there, 25% off of your sunglass selection. Great sunglass selection over at Southern Eye Center. If you want to stop in and see them today. Good day for sports in South Louisiana. LSU baseball taking on UL tonight in the Wally Pontiff Classic. This will be at the box. Usually this game happens down in New Orleans. For whatever reason, it's happening at the box tonight.
the Zephyrs are gone.
Ah,
So they took up the baseball field where they used to
That's
play,
right.
and now it's a rugby field.
Is it really? Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
We talked to, Nick Pontiff, the brother, yesterday on Mic'd Up, and he gave us the lowdown as to why he's very grateful for LSU being able to do this because they're essentially giving all of the proceeds back to the Wally Pontiff Foundation.
Oh.
So LSU did a very hat tip, very nice job of
Yeah,
them
that's
taking care of
nice.
this game, and it is the last one.
Oh, it is?
Mm-hmm.
Ever?
Ever.
Oh,
For now.
okay.
wow. Man, that's a lot of history in that game.
I can't believe I remembered all of it. Oh, at the game, yes.
Yes.
There you
What
say
is-
that
what
I
is
just
that?
said.
Why is it named that? Like, what is the history of that?
So Wally Pontiff is a former standout from New Orleans, signed with LSU, had a stellar freshman season. The freshman season was the 2000 national championship run, where he was the starting third baseman. And then I believe going into his junior season, he tragically passed away. He had a heart abnormality. He died at the age of 21 back in 2002. He played at LSU 2 years. He played from 2000 to 02. He was a starting designated hitter on LSU's 2000 College World Series national championship team, and very much was a look. He was you heard Nick yesterday, and Nick is he's got a great personality, and he's very easy to talk to, easy to go along with, and Wally was like that. You know, I mean, he had a great New Orleans type personality, very much embraced you and was a fan favorite, and
Pretty much epitomized what LSU baseball was in
Yeah.
the late 90s, early
Yeah.
2000s. Yeah.
you know, his family was, you routinely would see them outside the box tailgating. They were so proud,
Yeah.
right? Like to be a part of the program and a part of LSU, and bringing all of their people in from New Orleans who loved the Pontiffs and, you know, covered and watched LSU baseball. So it's going to be, man, it's going to be sad to think that this is going to be the last one. Is Tuesday's games, and this is coming from LSUsports.net, marks the first Wally Pontiff Foundation Classic since April of 2019, when UL beat LSU down at the Shrine on Airline in Metairie. But there has been some really great games and great get-togethers and gatherings for the Wally Pontiff Classic. I can remember the first one that I went to, right back when it early started, and just, you know, the passion. You could see the LSU baseball fans and the love that they had for not only Wally, but just, you know, all of the LSU alumni, and the pride of that fan base very much was on display and will be on display tonight at the Pontiff Classic. And this one will be, as we said, in Baton Rouge, as LSU begins this week, looking to bounce back after the Arkansas series last week, as they were swept at Baum Stadium in 3 games. They'll look to bounce back tonight versus the Cajuns, and they'll take on Missouri this weekend in a 3-game set in Baton Rouge. UL Lafayette is 9-6 right now in the Sun Belt. They have won 11 of their last 15 games.
Dang.
And the Cajuns won 2 of 3 over Monroe last weekend in Lafayette. They're hitting about 258 for the season, and their pitching staff has a 4.19 ERA with just over 330 strikeouts on the season. So, look, there's always going to be emotion. Throw the records out when these two teams meet. Anytime you can get them at the box, you know you're going to get a traveling, you know, a really big fan traveling group from Lafayette that's going to come down with the Cajuns. Some LSU fans who are over in Lafayette usually come over for a day like today and make a day of it when LSU's playing UL. So there should be a lot of flavor, a lot of personality, and a lot of emotion on display tonight as LSU looks and tries to bounce back at the box tonight. First
Why
pitch.
does this have to be the last one?
I don't know.
Did they say that yesterday? Like why it's the last?
No, I don't think so. And I don't know if they have plans to maybe start it up again, but just because of where it was played and how it was done,
okay.
they have to figure out a new location.
Okay.
I'd imagine that this thing is not
Going to keep rolling.
It's not going anywhere. I mean, this is just almost become.
It could just become like I know he's not from UL or LSU. Essentially, he's not from Baton Rouge or Lafayette, but you could almost do it like a home and home, where you just do it either in Lafayette or do it in Baton Rouge every year. Because it's gonna be hard to find like a set location. I would imagine, certainly in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess there's not another baseball stadium
Right.
there. Huh?
I mean, they used to play the Winn-Dixie Classic in the Dome.
Really?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
How?
I mean, they would transform the Dome into a
baseball field. They used to play
field.
a bunch of
I mean,
games
the
there.
Yankees
Yeah.
actually used to come down and play series down in New Orleans because George Steinbrenner had he had a business in the shipyard.
I
or
bet
he
he
had
did.
an ownership in the port. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
George.
Yeah, I got to go down south see a couple
Yeah,
things.
right.
Yeah.
Give him a series. But that's why there was for the 70s, like the kids who grew up in New Orleans in the 70s are like huge Yankees fans.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I mean, like it's.
That's how it happened. Yeah, I think I even went to a game. I think there was Rangers, Yankees, or maybe Cubs, Yankees, or something like that. It was always another marquee team that was kind of like it moved the needle just enough to go, and then to see the Superdome like that was kind of fun.
Yeah, it was.
It was just something to
That
do.
has to cost so much money to transform that.
No.
Really?
No. I mean, actually,
Throw
'cause,
some dirt
all
down?
all you do is cut off you cut off a section, and then you just roll out the carpet. I mean, they play it on turf, and you just you just turn. Now, back in the day, it was like playing on cement.
It was wild looking.
I mean, the NFL, the Saints carpet and AstroTurf was, it was like playing on a parking lot. So, I mean, I can't imagine what catching a baseball off of that
hot liner.
carpet
Yeah.
coming off the cement at you off of like the old Easton bats.
Yeah,
dude.
keep the mouthpieces around, boys. Good Lord.
But it was awesome. I mean, that was kind of a cool part of childhood growing up here was the Winn-Dixie Classic.
Who
you could
played
always,
in that? What's
LSU always played in it.
Okay.
But it was kind of like the Shriners Classic now down in Houston. Skip
Okay.
Bertman would put it together, and you would get you get a couple of name recognized teams, or even like Tulane back in the day with Rick Jones was a
Powerhouse.
Yeah, I mean they were good. You know what I mean? They were solid, and they would go play those teams, and it was. It's kind of like an ode to the past, right? And I think that this Wally Pontiff Classic probably had some Winn-Dixie it had some the Winn-Dixie Classic vibes to it, and not letting this go away, I think will be huge for the people behind it. For nobody else, at least the Pontiffs.
Put it in the dome.
Yeah.
I mean, this is great for the weekend just to celebrate Wally. I mean, to celebrate him tonight. I mean, how much he and his family mean to LSU is a night that I think you can't lose.
No.
You can't lose this night. You can't let it go away. Remember, daily, we are brought to you over here by GoFlow IV, GEAUX FlowIV.com. GoFlow IV is online at GoFlowIV.com, GEAUX FlowIV.com, located on Jefferson Highway. Remember to mention the promo code Jordy, the Jordy Culotta Show, and you'll get 15% off of your initial visit over there to Baton Rouge's IV Hydration, located on Jefferson Highway. GoFlowIV.com, GEAUX FlowIV.com, GEAUX FlowIV.com. Ask them about their memberships. It makes it a lot easier on you. They have 3-month, 6-month, annual memberships that they offer over at GoFlow. GEAUX FlowIV.com, Baton Rouge's premier medical spa specializing in IV hydration with vitamin infusion. We're scheduled to talk to Ross Dellenger coming up here at 8:15 this morning. And looking forward to diving into to his piece on Brian Kelly. What's that?
I said this pool. I've never seen this at the Go Flow. Is that the back room?
I don't
Are you talking
know.
about this?
I don't know if that is GoFlow.
You could have fooled me.
We'll be back with more of the Jordy Culotta Show,
This
driven and
GoFlow?
powered by
We'd
Go
be spending a
Chevrolet.
lot more time there if that was good.
Oh, you got the pool up and running today. Excellent. That's how you get hydrated. Just drink the water.
Southern Eye Centers, located at 6859 Jefferson Highway right here in Baton Rouge, has been serving your eyes for over 40 years in the capital region. They offer friendly service in a helpful environment with the highest level of personal care to manage your eye health and vision needs. If you want more information, log online to southerneyecenters.com. That is southerneyecenters.com. Stop in and check out their beautiful office located on Jefferson Highway right here in the capital city. And remember, each time you walk in there and you mention the Jordy Culotta Show, Dr. Ann Shaw and Southern Eye Centers will take 25% off of their fantastic selection of sunglasses. All you got to do is mention the Jordy Culotta Show. Check them out. southerneyecenters.com and located at 6859 Jefferson Highway.
Looking to book a dumpster but no idea how? We've made it quick and easy for you. Check out our website at moralesrolloffs.com. Let Morales Rolloffs know your desired delivery date, and finally, provide your contact details. To make payment, look out for an email invoice with all your booking details. On delivery day, our driver will notify you through text and email that your dumpster is ready and on the way. Now you know how easy and convenient it is. Call Morales Rolloffs at 225-427-0000 for your dumpster.
All right, personal testimony from my trip over to Johnson and Spillers. Shout out to my friend Dr. Chad Spillers for taking care of me, man. I had to have my front tooth, a tooth implanted on my front tooth, and it was a hell of an ordeal, but Dr. Spillers and the crew from Johnson and Spillers made it as easy and seamless as possible to work with and have taken the final product, and it is absolutely beautiful. Learn more online at johnsonspillers.com. Whether you're looking for Botox or you need help in any type of dentistry, whether it is dentures, night guards, if you're looking for Invisalign, if you're interested in implant dentistry like I got, you can get in touch with Johnson and Spillers. Online, johnsonspillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easiest way to get them, online at johnsonspillers.com. Shout out to Tom Granning from everybody over here at FM Digital Media, as he is our fuel sponsor. Whether it's fuel cards or snacks, he's keeping us going every day at FM Digital Media. If you're out on Highway 61, make sure and stop in and see him over at Go Mart. It is located in Natchez, Mississippi. It is our favorite convenience store, and it's for our guy Tom Granning, who supports us every day over here at FM Digital Media. To the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, live on this Tuesday as we come to you live from the Noodle. Make sure you hit that like button, share button, comment button if you don't mind. We're going to talk to Ross Dellenger coming up here in a couple of minutes. We mentioned that it's a really cool sports day here down in South Louisiana. We mentioned the LSU baseball game tonight. Tigers are facing off against UL as the Tigers and Cajuns will square off this afternoon in the Wally Pontiff Classic over at the Box. LSU right now 23-12 and 7-8 in the SEC, fifth place right now in the SEC West after getting swept by Arkansas last weekend, looking to bounce back. They'll play tonight over at the Box, and then tonight you've also got Pelicans and Suns, game 2 from the desert. You wonder how New Orleans can bounce back after it looked like seemingly finding some things out about Phoenix in the second half. We talked a little bit about this yesterday in reacting to game 1, and I really do think that in the second half the Pelicans found a little bit of something that they can fall back on and really put Phoenix in a spot. Do I think that New Orleans is going to beat Phoenix in a 7-game series? I do not. I think that Phoenix is the number 1 overall seed in this tournament for a reason. They've got the best point guard in the world in Chris Paul. He seems to be playing at a very high level right now. And he really was the difference.
Needs to tweak that hamstring a
in
little bit.
In the outcome the other night. I'm just saying this: if Chris Paul has to go nuclear like he did in the fourth quarter and score 19 like he did the other night, I wouldn't count on that every game. If he does it, I don't say I'd be shocked. I'd just say, man, you know what? Salute, good luck to you on the way. But I think that New Orleans does some things that really aggravate and give Phoenix some problems. And I think in that third quarter, they really figured it out with Jackson Hayes being out there alongside Valanciunas, where they were just kind of, first off, they won the rebounding war over Phoenix and out-rebounded them on the glass on a night where DeAndre Ayton was playing really big. And they had a lot of success in the second half by just grabbing rebounds and getting out and running. Just kind of spread the floor. You're athletic. You're young. You can sprint and just kind of throw lobs at the rim. And Jackson Hayes, even though his points weren't a lot, he was just somebody that they had to really pay attention to, get back and defend on in this athletic run-out type system where New Orleans looked very, very comfortable. That game was that game was inching on becoming a blowout in the first half when New Orleans had to play in a half-court set. And they had to slow the game down and run off of screens and try and find open shots and try and create shots. I thought with, guys like Trey Murphy on the floor in the second half, Jackson Hayes on the floor in the second half, some of the lineups that they were able to tinker with, I thought that it really kind of had Phoenix on their heels for the second half. I mean, they only won the game by 11. They were up by 23 at half.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It was a different style and different game in that last 24 minutes compared to the first half. So hopefully they can get it together, man. And if you're watching on YouTube right now, you see some clips of Zion going through some 5-on-5 against coaches, players. Not a true 5-on-5 pickup run like a practice type run, but you see a couple of players out there.
Do you think he's the first pick for these games?
Zion? Mm-hmm. I think he's probably separating the teams.
Coaches, players, the coaches, like maybe some players, some managers, and Zion.
I know, exactly.
Might want to take him.
He looked good.
He looks like he can play.
Yeah.
I don't get this. Shout out Will Guillory for the video.
It still makes me nervous, though. I watched this yesterday, and it still makes me nervous. Like, is
Will
he ready?
Guillory, and then our guy Andrew Lopez yesterday was able to talk to and get some information that Zion really feels ready to play, man. It is one of the most frustrating and just confusing.
Yeah.
I'm telling y'all, I feel like he's just going to show up on the court. They're not going to announce it, and he's going to play, and we're going to lose our
like
minds.
Bill Murray in Space Jam.
That's what I want to happen. That's what I'm manifesting that.
Okay. You can do it.
Plus 10
Katie
tonight.
Gutt.
Pelicans plus 10.
10.
Plus 10.
It was 10.5 last game, I believe, is where it
11. I
closed.
think it tipped at 11.
If you got it,
Oh, no, it was 10.5 and
it was
they won
10.5.
by 11.
Yes, and then if you teased it up to 12, you were able to get a W
Dub.
instead of an L.
Yeah.
That's how Vegas gets you every time.
I don't know, man. I'm looking forward to Game 2 to see how the New Orleans Pelicans respond. You know, I think this is the beautiful part about the NBA playoffs is, you know, games like the other night, it'll be interesting to see what adjustments Willie Green and the Pelican staff make in getting ready for Game 2. I wonder if they'll try to apply that pressure on Phoenix for 48 minutes and if they can sustain it, right? I mean, if they can keep up with that type of pace. But, you know, I think it's a sneaky good series.
That's what I was wondering, if the Suns are like, oh, we might be in for a bit of a dogfight here.
I think after that second half, they're probably thinking, this is a little different. This is not what we expected. And, you know, New Orleans, their youth, I think Willie Green is still kind of figuring some things out. You know, I mean, this is his first big stage of head coaching NBA basketball in the playoffs. He's going up against his best friend in Monty Williams, the bench that he sat on last season with the Phoenix Suns. So, I mean, he's got a lot of familiarity with where he is right now. I doubt that there's, you know, much, I don't know if expectations are the right word, but I mean, I don't even, you know, I mean, they're the 8 seed playing the 1 seed. And at times the other night, like we said, I mean, it looked like a 1 versus 8 matchup. And then at other times you were wondering who's the 1, who's the 8. So, I mean, I think that this series has got a little bit of everything.
Was it Golden State Mavericks the last time a 1 seed was upset in the first round of the playoffs? Remember
was that Baron Davis?
Baron Davis take the jersey off game?
Was Dirk in that one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dirk was a young Dirk.
Yeah, young Dirk. That's when
Steve Nash, was he still with Dallas?
No.
No.
But all-time dunk by Baron Davis.
Yes.
Yeah, caught a body.
Yeah, he did. Baron Davis, BD, sneaky, like,
That was the Don Nelson.
superstar.
Was it Don Nelson Warriors? Like,
Yeah.
he's awesome.
Yeah.
Did
Was it
y'all
Don
watch-
Nelson Warriors or Mavericks?
No, he was the Warriors
Because, I mean,
coach.
he was with the Mavericks for a long time.
He was, but I believe this was just like I think they had Steven Jackson on this team. He made another run at the playoffs, and it was just a eclectic group of guys.
Yeah.
They're like, we could put this together for 6 games or
Did y'all
4.
watch the Warriors last night?
I couldn't stay up that late.
Steph
No, I
Curry?
couldn't make it either.
Couldn't stay up that late.
I didn't watch the highlights or anything. It's pretty good.
I watched highlights. They rolled. Huh?
Jordan Poole,
Yeah, Jordan Poole's a
126
stud.
to 106. He is a stud. 29
stud.
points. Steph Curry, 34 points.
Did Steph come off the bench last night? He was
What?
coming off the bench for a while.
He
That's
did in
4
game
points?
1, yeah, but I don't know if he did in game 2.
Ankle. Baron Davis, sneaky great New Orleans athlete. One of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, Arizona State,
UCLA.
UCLA. I knew that.
UCLA.
Yes.
Was on the original. He was drafted by Charlotte. I believe he won the Rookie of the Year with Charlotte. Check me on that, Stewie. Baron Davis, Rookie of the Year, Charlotte Hornets.
For 500. It is Trivia Tuesday.
I remember going to Mardi Gras early when the Pelicans had moved. They were still the New Orleans Hornets. And Baron Davis was walking down the middle of St. Charles during Mardi Gras with 2 big old pits on like leather leashes on like
like
some
pit
chain
bull dogs.
on some chain collars, walking down
the
St.
street.
Charles.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
How random.
BD. Yeah.
I'll stay about 10 feet away.
That's funny.
Baron Davis. Who else was on that team? Jamal Mashburn was on those teams, on those early New Orleans Hornets teams. Baron Davis, Jamal Mashburn.
That's right. Not in my wheelhouse.
Who was the big they had from Kentucky? I'm looking at him. Never won Rookie of the Year?
Didn't win a Rookie of the Year. No.
There's Steph from last night. He was on fire.
Off the
Came
bench
off the
again.
bench, bro.
Y'all, I just sat here and told y'all that. I just said, did y'all watch the game? Steph Curry scored 34 points.
No, but we asked you if he came off the bench.
Yes, I was talking about him playing.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
He scored last night.
Best cams are back.
Who?
I don't know. We're being
Oh,
bombarded.
no.
Oh, what did we
Oh,
didn't even
that's
talk
not-
about anything
what
yet.
Was what was the other one?
Red face.
Red face. Oh, no.
How does this happen?
I don't know. I feel like it's something we say, right? But what'd we say?
Where's Noah? Noah's so good at this.
Oh, my gosh. That's weird.
Remember, we're brought to you by RMB Builders, rmbbuilders.com. RMB Rhett-Builders.com is where you can find them online. Rhett Bourgeois and his crew, they bring you our podcast. Remember, if you can't catch the live edition, you can always go back and listen to the podcast. Jamal McGlure, thank you. Joey Jett, Jeff and Kenner.
Is that still on your mind?
It was.
PJ Brown, I do remember
PJ
him.
Brown was on that team, too.
Yeah. He played forever.
Sneaky good unis. I love the all whites were fantastic, and then they had like the teal.
Right,
New
I think of
Orleans
the teal
Hornets
ones.
was fantastic. I love the border of like the collar and the shoulder. I'm telling you, man, the early New Orleans Hornets uniforms were sneaky great throwbacks.
I don't remember those.
Yeah, the gold
yes.
stripe. Didn't they have all golds too?
I don't know if I was down with the all golds.
Well, take a chance.
Yeah, the all whites were super clean, and the aquas they traveled well.
I remember those. Yeah,
They traveled well with just the NOLA across the chest.
I like the all whites now.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
like with the NOLA across the
Yeah.
chest.
Those
I
are
like
my
the little
favorite, I
the little
think.
red accent. Those are good looking.
Get in touch with Rhett Bourgeois, though, if you're looking for a custom design home. If you need anything done around the house or around the office, they're commercially licensed as well over there at RMB Contractors. RMB-Builders.com is where you can find them online. Rhett Bourgeois and his crew over there at RMB-Builders.com. Great website. If you're watching right now, Lloyd is surfing the site and giving you some of the looks there and some of the finishes from RMB.
Some of the what?
Handiwork.
Finishes?
Handy jobs.
RMB-Builders.com.
That's
Build,
gonna
buy, and
summon
remodel.
Red face for sure.
Yeah, no, if we're gonna do it, let's do it.
Let's go all the way.
Yeah. Brett.
Some early names from those New Orleans teams. David Wesley was on those teams.
Mm-hmm.
Eldon Campbell was on those teams. PJ
I didn't keep
Brown.
up with them then. I don't.
Wow,
remember any
Dan
of them.
Dickow. I forgot. Dickow. was
Dickow.
on-
See, I was in the next iteration, like the CP.
Yeah.
That's when I started paying
This is
attention to the Hornets.
early.
Yeah, this is early.
Early. I remember one of my first assignments ever in radio. I worked for the Louisiana Radio Network, LRN.
They still send
And,
spots if you want them.
Really?
Oh yeah.
And they asked me to drive down to New Orleans and audio record. The Pelicans had just been announced. The Hornets had just been announced that they were coming to the city, like that they had gotten the bid, that they had won the bid, and went down there and went to the press conference in the city. And the mayor at the time, I believe, was Morial. They threw him. They rolled like a basketball goal into the press conference. It's kind of like the back setup. It was kind of like sitting in the middle of like the press row was each side of the goal. Like, so the goal was kind of the centerpiece of the
cool.
deal. And as Morial was walking up, they threw him a basketball. It was like big day for the city, and he in stride, never broached, in a suit, tied up, bro, just lets it fly. And as soon as he let it go, people were like, "That's money,
Cash.
that is cash." And I mean, just. Wow! Splashes it in, and everybody, in the press, nobody's supposed to cheer at a press con, the old the Ron
Rons
Higgins
of the world.
I mean, with their pencils marking down whoever claps, so he can include them in tomorrow's column as somebody that they should revoke their credentials. But the entire place was
Well, I mean, you have to.
I remember I was standing next to Fletcher Mack. I was like, "No way!" As soon as he let it go, I was like, "Fletch, I think that's in, bro."
Yes.
Wham! I mean, everybody's like, "Yeah, we're gonna win a championship!"
Decided to attend it.
Right. Next thing you know, they're in Oklahoma City. We'll be back with Ross Dellenger here on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. City Cafe, online at citycafebr.net, where good friends meet. Great food and even better service. Located in the shopping center behind Rite Aid on the corner of George O'Neill and O'Neill Lane. They cater for parties, big and small. Sundays, they serve a fantastic brunch that starts at 10 a.m. They have daily lunch specials. And remember, you can look at everything online at citycafebr.net. We give a shout out to Squeaky Miranda, Cody Miranda, Dirk and the crew, everybody over at City Cafe for their support here, the Jordy Culotta Show. Online, citycafebr.net.
Hey y'all, it's Mikey from Mic'd Up. Catch us live every Monday and Wednesday, 11 to 1. Talk gambling, talk sports, have a ton of guests in here, get a little perspective from the athlete side of it. We got Lloyd in the house, Jay Mitch is in here a lot of the time. It's a fun show, great show. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends. If you don't like it, it's fine. Make fun of us, it's okay. Just get us out there, share us out there. We having fun, we want to share our fun with you. Like I said, Mic'd Up, brought to you by Sterling Automotive. Every Monday through Wednesday, 11 to 1. Catch us live on YouTube, baby. See y'all.
Southern Eye Centers, where their passion is caring for eyes. It's what they do. They've been doing it for 40 years. They've been offering the Capital Region a friendly, helpful environment with the highest level of personal care to manage your eye health and vision needs. Stop in and see their brand new office on Jefferson Highway today, where you can find them at 6859 Jefferson Highway. They also are the daily poll sponsor on the Culotta Show. And remember, if you go into Southern Eye Center of Baton Rouge and you mention the Jordy Culotta Show, you will receive 25% off of their fantastic sunglasses selection over at Southern Eye Center. Check out Dr. Ann Shaw and Southern Eye Center, the daily poll sponsor of the Jordy Culotta Show. All right, personal testimony from my trip over to Johnsaw and Spillers. Shout out to my friend Dr. Chad Spillers for taking care of me, man. I had to have my front tooth, a tooth implanted on my front tooth, and it was a hell of an ordeal, but Dr. Spillers and the crew from Johnsaw and Spillers made it as easy and seamless as possible to work with and have taken the final product, and it is absolutely beautiful. Learn more online at johnsonspillers.com. Whether you're looking for Botox or you need help in any type of dentistry, whether it is dentures, night guards, if you're looking for Invisalign, if you're interested in implant dentistry like I got, you can get in touch with Johnson Spillers. Online, johnsonspillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easiest way to get them, online at johnsonspillers.com. All right, welcome back here. We'll talk to Ross Dellenger here in a couple of minutes on LSU football. We'll talk to him from Sports Illustrated.
Birdman, great job for old Pelicans or old Hornets.
Chris Birdman.
J.R. Smith.
Before the Tats.
Yeah.
J.R. Smith drafted by the Hornets.
Was it the
Pelicans?
Pelicans, yes.
Hornets.
Out of high school.
Hornets, yes, he was. All right, Katie, you have an announcement?
Yes.
On,
y'all might remember this time last year we had Ryan Swallow on. His son, Henry, was diagnosed with a blood condition called aplastic anemia, and they had a blood drive last year. We were their biggest sponsor, actually. This year they're doing a cornhole tournament. It is at Rally Cap Brewing Company on Saturday, April 30th. There is a link that I'll put in the chat where you can donate, but there will be prizes, and you can sign up for the cornhole tournament with teams. I think it's going to be really fun, and it raises money for the St. Jude Affiliate Clinic here in Baton Rouge. So y'all sign up for it. I'll put the link in there. Lloyd's going to put the graphic up. You can see a little picture of Sweet Henry at OLL Children's Hospital. Sorry. Anyway, the tournament's at Rally Cap. If y'all haven't been there, have y'all been to Rally Cap? It's really cool. Have y'all had the beer at Rally Cap? The Rally Cap beer? It's awesome. No. It's really good. Mikey did a podcast there the other day with Bryant. Anthony Renato.
Okay, yes. I saw that.
It's a really cool spot. So it's at 3 o'clock Saturday, April 30th at Rally Cap, and we'll put this up on our social as well.
All right, that is, make sure you check out that link and support it. Shout out to Ryan Swallow and our crew over there. We've got Ross Dellenger from SI.com. Great write-up from Delly on Brian Kelly. the new LSU head football coach, and as Ross Dellenger, who is recognized as one of the top writers in the sport, had a chance to get down to Baton Rouge and really talk to a lot of people around Brian Kelly, talk to Brian Kelly and get an emphasis and get an idea on the direction here in year one. Ross, good morning. How are you, buddy?
Morning, Jordy. How you doing?
Doing good, man. It's good to talk to you once again. Ross, Brian Kelly, the task that we were talking a little bit about it in hour one, the organizational health term that he used in describing LSU and talking about how poor it was when he took over, just the organization of the program. Do you have an idea of how long it could take him to smoke that stuff out, to get that stuff figured out? Or I was saying, I don't even know if the executive team that was selling the job to Brian Kelly understood the dysfunction that the football program in Baton Rouge was under.
Well, as far as the timeline, I think he knows that it's got to be quick. One of the things he mentioned to me was, LSU didn't call him to say, hey, come on down, come compete in the SEC West, and you got 3-4 years to figure it out. That doesn't exist these days anymore. And I think the timeline, as far as for really anybody, is accelerated. It's possible to turn around something quicker now because of the transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen LSU use that pretty well this past recruiting cycle. Got several guys from the transfer portal, so it's a little easier nowadays to turn around a program a little quicker. But we all know these things do tend to take a little time, and he mentioned that because of the situation the program was in, that it would take some time. But he knows he really doesn't have it, and like I said, I think the big thing is the transfer portal is a place where if you're a new coach, you can plug and play and turn around things a little quicker.
Do you have an idea what the expectation may be inside of the building for year one under Kelly?
I think a lot of it's going to depend on the quarterback. You say that a lot about pretty much every team you could say that about, but because quarterback is so important these days in football, NFL, college. If you don't have a good quarterback that not only is skilled, but and just to use a cliche, the whole coach on the field thing. If you don't have a quarterback who understands the system and can make quick decisions and all that, then you're in a little bit of trouble. So I think it's going to depend on the quarterback, and I know they've got a 2 or 3.
Oh, he's back.
I think they feel they feel good about certainly the two. I was discussing Miles and Jaden with them when I was there a little bit, and they feel good about those guys. They each are very different, so depending on what scheme they want to run is probably what quarterback they'll go with, or maybe they'll go with a quarterback depending on his skills and shape the scheme around it. But I think it's going to depend a lot on how good quarterback play is how good year one is.
Ross, you point out the differences in personality in LSU's last head coach to Brian Kelly. Ogeron drove a Hummer. Kelly drives a Tesla. Ogeron would beat a drum in the halls of LSU football. Now under Kelly, the players are discouraged of playing music in the halls as they move from meeting room to meeting room. What type of change is Kelly undertaking? I mean, is this a total overhaul? Is this flipping LSU football on its head before next season? Or what is the challenge that Brian Kelly is taking on here?
Well, Jordy, and this, you've been inside that facility the last 10 years or so, not only under the last coach, but under the previous coach too. The facility was a bit loose, that's kind of like the mentality there was, a little bit of that loose swagger that you kind of saw from like Miami in the old days.
Yeah.
It reminded me of that. There was a little bit of that was in the LSU, inside the LSU football facility. I mean, tell the story all the time, right? Of the football ops where they turned off the lights during team meetings and blared music and did the strobe lighting. Don't think that's going to be happening
Right.
with the new regime. It's a little more business. It's a little more CEO. And college sports has obviously developed into a business, and I think that certain coaches have started to kind of craft their program as a business. And I think Brian Kelly, just as much as anybody that I've ever met or interviewed, is a businessman type of coach. I mean, the guy was a former political aide. He comes from that kind of background. So I think you're going to see a little more streamlined situation. He brought in, I think it's 48 new people, and basically fired everybody in the building, or let go everybody in the building, or they left, other than about 5 people. I mean, I remember I walked in the building and I saw Yael, who is his secretary, and I looked around and I didn't see anybody else I recognized. And she kind of chuckled like, this is it. I'm the holdover, at least up on the second floor where the coach's office is. You go down on the first floor and you got Greg Stringfeld and some of the equipment guys. Jack Marucci obviously still there, Shelly Mullinex, but gosh, other than that small group, he changed over the staff, and he said something about that I don't think I even put in the story. He said that a lot of those people were great people. They just needed a little fresh look and feel at LSU, and he wanted to change over, kind of the staff, and boy, they did it.
You talked to a lot of people from his Notre Dame days, whether it was Brady Quinn or it was Mike Golick Jr. Obviously, the way that he left a bad taste in the Golden Domers' mouths. What did you make of that exit, and what do you think his legacy will be at Notre Dame now that he's the? I read again in your write up, and I was reminded. I mean, he's the winningest coach in that program's history. What do you think that the legacy that Kelly leaves in South Bend is?
Yeah, I don't think anybody expected him really to leave. If you were really, what I found out, if you were really close to the Notre Dame program, you did expect him to leave, which is surprising to me. I think he had flirted with some things in the past, I guess, and there were some people I spoke with that are pretty close to the program and within the athletic department that weren't too surprised. But I think nationally, certainly, there was a little bit of surprise and sticker shock that of the contract and of his decision. He had just completed what he called a forever home built on just off the Notre Dame campus in South Bend, and it was surprising to many people, and I think the way he left, how he left was kind of the biggest issue that Notre Dame people have. You got to remember a couple things. He not only was the winningest coach in Notre Dame history, but no Notre Dame coach had left Notre Dame for another college job, like voluntarily left, since like 1908. Like It had been over 100 years. It just doesn't happen there. And they're a small group of programs you can say that about, right? I mean, LSU probably is one, although they had, I feel like back in, it might have been Dietzel.
Went to South Carolina.
Who left. So you have to go back to that. I mean, you got to go back to the early 1900s for a Notre Dame coach, to find a Notre Dame coach who left voluntarily for another college coaching job. So they're just not used to it. In how it happened and the way it happened, where he left a week before the rankings were released. I mean, if a couple things had gone Notre Dame's way during that conference championship weekend, they could have been in the playoff, and they would have had their former coach at LSU, and they would have had a new coach, coaching them in a playoff game. So I think how it happened also kind of burned a lot of Notre Dame fans.
Last one, Delly. I know you got to get out of here. Bryce, the title of the cover story is Brian Kelly, LSU in a $100 million gamble. When you look at it from LSU's point of view, what's the risk that you see on Kelly?
Well, a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
If he doesn't work out and things go really bad after second or third year, I think you are going to owe him $60-70 million. 90% of the deal is guaranteed. So, number one, it's money. Number two, it's kind of fit, which I talked a lot about in the story. Is like, Brian Kelly spent his whole career in the Midwest. He's from the Northeast. Will this work down in the Bayou? LSU in Louisiana is such a unique place culturally. But Nick Saban wasn't from the South. Had never actually coached in the South, I don't think, before he arrived at LSU. So it's been proven in the past that it can work. It's just a unique that area of the country, South Louisiana, is just really unique to any other place, I think, in America. And so I think you're taking a risk on that. And you're taking a risk on somebody who some people might say is at the back end of their career. I mean, even Brian Kelly said, this is it for him. This is kind of his last job, last hurrah, if not now, win sort of thing. He's 60 years old. So you take a risk there too. So some people would say that this was kind of a safe hire, somebody who had been so successful over the years. And I get where they're coming from with that, but there was some risk into it for sure.
I got Bull Campbell smashing 12 tall boys off of his forehead after he's drinking beer on his back porch. You get a number on how many Bull cleared on that beer drinking with Kelly on his first night on the recruiting trail?
I didn't get a number on old Bull, but of everybody I talked to for that story, certainly Bull was the most entertaining, to say the least. It was fun talking to him, and he didn't realize that was really Kelly's first welcome to Louisiana moment on the recruiting trail. And so he was happy to hear about that his family was able to provide to roll out, the camouflage carpet for Brian Kelly with the etouffee and the beer. And Kelly got emotional talking about that visit and just how kind of blown away he was, just understanding in a small time frame, this is Louisiana.
Yeah. It's going to be tough to keep Bull's son off the field very early. Will is making some waves down here during spring, already running first-team left tackle. Thank you, Delly. Keep up the great work, man.
All right. See you guys.
All right, man. There he is, Ross Dellenger, checking in from Sports Illustrated this morning. You can follow his work and read it at si.com. A great article on Brian Kelly and LSU. He's talking there. Brian Kelly, LSU in a $100 million gamble is the name of the write-up over at Sports Illustrated, and it's an in-depth look at Kelly's first couple of days in Baton Rouge, in Louisiana, kind of getting regulated into the recruiting trail there, and really kind of had a mishap within the first 3 minutes of meeting the Campbells that Dellenger very eloquently describes in the article. If you have not checked it out, make sure you peep that at si.com, and, of course, over at Ross's Twitter account. You can find it there at Ross Dellenger. Remember, Daily, we're brought to you by our friends over at Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works. Jude Barker and everybody over in Plaquemine, Louisiana. I hope everybody's doing okay. A scary situation last night as I checked in with Jude at around 10:30 when I saw that Dow Chemical was releasing some type of
chlorine or something?
Yeah, it was like chlorine that was going in, and then like all of West Baton Rouge Parish was advised to close your windows, turn off your air condition. I mean, you get
like
of
Chernobyl.
You get some type of report like that come across the wire at 10 o'clock at night, man. I mean, that's frightening. It's absolutely frightening. Some of the pictures that I saw coming out of Dow, I mean, it looked like you mentioned Batman was on last night. I mean, remember Batman when they were releasing the gases in the city with Jack Nicholson and the Michael Keaton Batman when Nicholson's riding around New York City and he's got the balloons and the balloons are filled with the gas and everybody like starts croaking and dying like on the hood. I mean, it looks like Armageddon.
How does that happen?
And the gases that were coming out of Dow Chemical last night, just some of the images that I saw looked very Chernobylish, very Batman, Jack Nicholson. Like, I mean, it was just, it was eerie. It was scary, man.
What's that movie with Mark Wahlberg where like something blows through the wind and it makes everybody go crazy as soon as you breathe it in?
Oh, God.
Y'all remember that movie?
No.
Awful. Awful.
Ted 2?
I'm in.
I'm in.
But our friend Jude Barker over
Just
on
a strong
the
strain.
on the West Bank, West Baton Rouge.
fine.
Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works. They are number one and a number two business, specializing in all works of plumbing. That is industrial, commercial, and residential. They employ 30-year veterans, and they also have the young and future superstars in the plumbing industry over there on staff. Experienced carpenters and plumbers on staff as well, so they can help you out with any industrial remodel that you may be thinking about. They cover Baton Rouge every single day. Got 2 trucks in Baton Rouge, located in Plaquemine and West Baton Rouge, but you can get in touch with them very easy. No website, no social media, but easy to hit them up. Text or call this number, 225-776-2431. What I love about that phone number, that's Jude's cell phone. That's the owner of the company.
Flip phone.
I mean, Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works has like multi-million-dollar contracts with big industrial providers around the area, and you can still dial the president of the company directly to his pocket, directly to his cell phone.
Rico's about to
with
spam
Jude
the
Barker
hell out
at
of Jude Barker.
225-776-2431. Make sure that you tell him you heard it on the Jordy Culotta Show. When you do, you save 15% off of your visit from Barker Brothers. Number one and the number two business. Get in touch with Jude and the crew over there over at Barker Brothers, and hope everybody over in Plaquemine and West Baton Rouge Parish is safe and sound after last night's scare.
It's called The Happening. It's
from
an M. Night
the,
Shyamalan movie.
ugh,
How have
jeez.
y'all not seen that?
Because
Is it Mark Wahlberg?
I would tap
Yeah.
out within the first 3.
It's a
As
good
soon
one.
as somebody died from inhalation of air, I'm out.
Well, they go crazy first. Like you see them
Sweet.
like blow, like inhale it, and then they lose their mind. They start
Great.
killing themselves. They throw
Oh,
themselves in front of a
nice.
car.
Yes.
They bash their head into glass.
Sweet.
Anything to like kill themselves.
Good Lord.
I'm out.
I
It's
mean,
awful.
it's a 17%
very
on the
disturbing
tomatoes.
movie.
I'm out.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah.
it?
It's not very
It's
good,
M. Night
Katie.
Shyamalan. I mean, like, that's always
Sometimes.
fun.
Yeah, he takes chances.
Huh?
Is it The Happening?
Well, yeah. That's what I just said, damn it.
Oh, I'm
Stu's not an active listener. We all know why.
Have you seen it?
yeah, I've seen it. It's dumb.
Okay.
Top 1 dumbest movies I've ever
God, y'all.
Nice.
Top 1.
Jeez.
One of one.
seen. One of one.
All right, shoot.
We'll be back with more of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
Watch The Happening.
You jerks.
Please don't.
Shout out to Tom Granning from everybody over here at FM Digital Media, as he is our fuel sponsor. Whether it's fuel cards or snacks, he's keeping us going every day at FM Digital Media. If you're out on Highway 61, make sure and stop in and see him over at Go Mart. That is located in Natchez, Mississippi. It is our favorite convenience store, and it's for our guy Tom Granning, who supports us every day over here at FM Digital Media. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz. City Cafe online at citycafebr.net, where good friends meet. Great food and even better service, located in the shopping center behind Rite Aid on the corner of George O'Neill and O'Neill Lane. They cater for parties big and small. Sundays, they serve a fantastic brunch that starts at 10 a.m. They have daily lunch specials, and remember, you can look at everything online at citycafebr.net. We'll give a shout-out to Squeaky Miranda, Cody Miranda, Dirk and the crew, everybody over at City Cafe for their support here, the Jordy Culotta Show, online, citycafebr.net. Southern Eye Centers, where their passion is caring for eyes. It's what they do. They've been doing it for 40 years. They've been offering the Capital Region a friendly, helpful environment with the highest level of personal care to manage your eye health and vision needs. Stop in and see their brand new office on Jefferson Highway today, where you can find them at 6859 Jefferson Highway. They also are the daily poll sponsor on the Culotta Show. And remember, if you go into Southern Eye Center of Baton Rouge and you mention the Jordy Culotta Show, you will receive 25% off of their fantastic sunglasses selection over at Southern Eye Center. Check out Dr. Ann Shaw and Southern Eye Center, the daily poll sponsor of the Jordy Culotta Show. Southern Eye Centers, located at 6859 Jefferson Highway right here in Baton Rouge, has been serving your eyes for over 40 years in the Capital Region. They offer friendly service in a helpful environment with the highest level of personal care to manage your eye health and vision needs. If you want more information, log online to southernyecenters.com. That is southernyecenters.com. Stop in and check out their beautiful office located on Jefferson Highway right here in the capital city. And remember, each time you walk in there and you mention the Jordy Culotta Show, Dr. Ann Shaw and Southern Eye Centers will take 25% off of their fantastic selection of sunglasses. All you got to do is mention the Jordy Culotta Show. Check them out, southernyecenters.com, and located at 6859 Jefferson Highway. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, debating salt water and chlorine here during the break.
What do you think we talk about in the breaks?
The old school chlorine was like gasoline to the eyeballs.
Oh,
really
it was a part of your childhood. You had to grow up tough.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
I mean,
when they poured the chlorine in it, it would like burn your eyes, like just a few.
I can remember getting out of like the community pools, and your mom would like drop you off there on her way to work, kind of like considered it a babysitting service.
Somebody's
You know
there.
what I mean? Like, here's 10, make it work. You know what I mean? I'll pick you up tonight.
Yeah.
You need breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You know, like
Hot dog. Always.
ain't got a bike. You know what I mean? Like nothing. Just figure it out. Pool's not even open yet.
See if you can stay the night at one of your
Right.
friend's house. Try to get yourself invited over.
Right. The local stoner pulls up in the Jeep, you know what I mean, to open up the place. He's late. He opens it up, throws a chunk of chlorine into the pool. We're high diving off the diving board, dude. Come out, and your eyes have got flames coming out of them.
Like the Loch Ness Monster.
Just like, ah! Waking up like, Jesus, man.
And you'd always have the kid, you open your eyes over there? No.
It had to be bad for
The
us,
kid
right?
that always freaked me out was the one that held his nose when they jumped.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is
Last pick on the
big red
basketball.
flag.
That's a huge red
That
flag.
was a big red flag.
But nothing more.
That's almost that's your parents'
what
fault.
about
Yeah.
But what about like the alpha that grabbed the nose? Like, you know, like it was always like there was always the section where you're like, okay, that looks like a nose grabber for sure.
Of course.
And then like somebody would walk up and be like, whoa.
Ooh. Yeah, the
Dude,
kid,
you
yeah.
cover
Somebody,
your nostrils when you jump in?
the water runs up my nose. Like, yeah, it does that to everybody, you nerd.
Yeah,
Yeah, get
right.
used
Hold
to
your
it.
breath.
I mean, dude, are you gonna
I
wear
was-
this cool card or not?
Yeah.
I was scared to death of the drain in the bottom of the pool, like the
Oh,
big
it
drain.
suck your butt?
I was scared to death of
Yeah.
it. And my brother would
Yeah.
take me and like hold me down there on the drain, underwater, in the deep end, and like hold me down. I'd just be under there screaming for my life.
Lord. Older brother?
Yes.
Better be.
Are you kidding? Yes, he beat the
How
hell
old
out of
is
me.
he? How much
He's
older?
7 years older than me.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Why do you think I'm okay being here with all you
That's
people
true.
every day?
That's an unfair fight,
I grew
though.
up getting like thrown into walls, held
And a 14
underwater.
and a 7-year-old? That's unfair.
That's unfair. That's mean.
I mean, my
was
sister
mean.
was 4 years younger than me, and I used to kick her ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's normal.
Yeah, we had a good time. Memories.
Sounds like it.
It sounds like you loved
He
it.
toughened me up. I mean, he made me tough. I hung with him. He and his friends, they would all beat me up. It was great.
That is an all-time panic, though, when you're being held underwater
Yes.
against your will. And
Absolutely.
you're like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to make it to the top.
Yeah.
Under the pile of people,
Hate that one, too.
Yeah.
that's the worst.
Yeah.
That is the worst.
But water is just the natural, like, water freaks me out.
Me too,
absolutely.
it's
Water
scary.
freaks me out. I mean, I'm not.
Think about getting trapped under ice and not being able to get up.
Woo!
That's always scared the hell out of me, too, when you see that happening.
Hey, because you feel
I mean,
like
you
you
don't see
could
that in
find,
person,
you
but-
know, you would hope you'd find your way back however you got in, but it seems much more difficult.
It does.
Ugh.
Oh, God. Why
Or-
are we talking about this? I feel
Did you
weird
see
now.
that video of the, it was some like
Chlorine.
fisherman or something, but it was like on sea at night, and he just took a video. It was like, I had no idea how dark it got out there.
Oh, no,
And-
thank
and
you.
all you can hear is the water, and like, I don't know what, dude, if I fall off this thing,
Yeesh.
What's in
get
there?
me out.
don't know
They were
what's
talking
in
about the
there.
Titanic, and they were like, "So this is what it looked like whenever
Oh,
they," because
hell
you think
no.
of all the lights around it, like on the boat. It's like it was dark as shit out there.
Yeah, it
Sure.
was.
What a
Megalodons
terrible
probably
way to
swimming
go.
Up under you
Oh.
and stuff.
Please get me, eat me,
I know.
get me out of here.
Something.
Not a child.
Ah, y'all.
Man.
Why'd we do
Claustrophobia is
that?
my,
Yeah.
Yeah.
my
Ooh, ooh.
absolute nightmare.
But the people on top, it sucks because everybody on top of you is having a great time.
Yeah.
And you're just like, get me, I can't breathe. I'm stuck. And they're all laughing and giggling. You're like, I'm dead. This is it.
I mean, that is the freakouts of all freakouts. You know what I mean?
It
Like,
is.
that's when the voice hits the high octaves.
And
You know
they're
what I
like,
mean?
hey, dude, calm down. Like, you don't know what I was just going through down
right,
there, dude.
Get me out! you know what I mean?
You little
Like,
bitch.
let me out of here!
It's not funny anymore.
Yeah, like, jeez, dude, chill out.
Chill
Like,
out.
Fuck you, man.
Yeah. Fine.
Yeah, right.
Go play
All right, we
basketball.
got the poll question up. Compliments of our friends over at Southern Eye Center. We were asking about Kayshawn. Do you believe he's going to play this season? I say yes.
What are the results?
How we looking?
Let's look.
I
I was
said
watching
no.
Jordan Spieth's
actually.
wife carry
No.
that baby
Yeah,
like
I
Walter
voted
Payton.
no.
67% yes.
Mm.
I saw that article that was put in the document where the trap game for
Yeah, I
LSU,
put
and
that
I
in
think
there.
that
It's
was
weird.
accurate. Doesn't
Yeah.
it? It's such a sandwich game. It's a little bit like Kentucky last year.
Really? I was reading it, man. I was looking at it, and Go 247, our friends over at 247 Sports, put out a latest write-up authored by Brad Crawford that came out yesterday talking about the trap games for the SEC teams this year. Every team on its schedule has a trap game according to Crawford, and according to him on LSU, he's got Tennessee, the October 8th matchup with Tennessee in town, which I think it'll be great to see Tennessee and LSU getting back together. I always love the matchup of LSU and Tennessee. It's
Are
always
they here?
It is in Baton Rouge, and it's always good to get those cross-divisional rivals together. They always kind of square off for good games, man. Always have been a good game. And October 8th is where they will play this year, and this one's going to be sandwiched in between Auburn on October 1st and Florida on October 15th, and I understand on why they believe this to be a trap game for LSU, but I think that Tennessee's going to come in here with a better team than they will face the week before at Auburn. I think that Tennessee is a better team this year than Auburn is right now on paper, at least. I believe that, and I think that a home game for LSU will have the attention of the Tigers, and I think Tennessee is going to be playing pretty good football, or at least is set to have a better season under Josh Heupel and kind of gaining momentum. When I looked at that kind of surprised me, really and truly. When I looked at the when I looked at the schedule, the game that jumps out to me, and I don't know if it's safe to label it a trap game, it just looks very dangerous, is the Ole Miss game to me, October 22nd.
Why do you think
And
that?
it's First off, it's after a pretty brutal stretch where you've got Auburn the 1st, you've got Tennessee the 8th, you've got Florida on the 15th, then you've got Ole Miss on the 22nd before your bye week at Bama. And this team right now, the scariest part of it for my evaluation going into the season is just the lack of depth, the lack of numbers, right? I mean, where are the players? And at that part of the SEC schedule, the gauntlet of what you had faced up to that point just in the month of October, right? October, as we said, Auburn on the 1st, Tennessee on the 8th, Florida on the 15th. You close out October with Ole Miss on the 22nd before your bye weekend on Halloween. And then you've got Alabama coming to town. But, I mean, before that, you've still got Mississippi State in September. You've got Florida State as the opener on September 4th. New Mexico's coming here. Southern will be here. Those two games don't really jump out, but it's still, look, you're going to have to – this isn't the luxury that LSU has had in the past couple of years where you can play, back up significant roles in those Southern New Mexico games. You don't have the numbers. You don't have the depth. You don't have that personnel. So, I mean, whether you can keep your roster fully intact and as healthy as possible, to me, kind of sets up LSU for a game to kind of go sideways on them. I don't know if LSU's in a position to have a trap game on the schedule. I know that everybody, it's easy to look at and there might be a letdown and that may be one that you overlook. But from LSU's standpoint this season, where they are, they overlook anybody. They get blown out. I mean, like, legitimately, they get blown out.
Tennessee makes sense, I feel like, right?
When's the last time they played Tennessee at home?
Was it 2010 when
It's been a while,
Jordan
right?
Jefferson scored on the first play of the game, and then the
he went
T-Bob
80.
thing, and then the
the
T-Bob
T-Bob
snap.
I guess that would be the last time.
Is that the last time?
Oh.
When T-Bob played?
Because they went there with Ogeron.
They went there
To
the Devin,
Knoxville.
the Devin
Remember
White in the
it
rain
stormed.
game. Whenever he was
That's
dancing
right.
in the camera, he was
Yeah.
loving it.
I mean,
And
it
everybody
was
else, this place
storming
is
that
shitty.
night. Yeah, it was storming that night.
Ole Miss is the trap for Alabama and Arkansas.
Yeah, and I don't know if Ole Miss should be labeled a trap game for LSU. Like I said, I don't know.
No, not LSU.
No, I know. But I
Okay.
mean, when just kind of, because I don't believe it to be Tennessee, but I don't believe that there is a trap on the schedule for LSU just because I don't think LSU has the luxury of overlooking anybody right now.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if there's a team that's not going to have LSU's full attention just because if they don't, you get bludgeoned, you get beat bad. So, I mean, I get that you had to put the article together and that you had to find one. And probably in a year where LSU is right, Tennessee's probably the choice.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know. When LSU gets right under Brian Kelly, if they get right under Brian Kelly, it feels like Tennessee's probably going to be getting right as well in the SEC East too.
Well, I think this is based on hopefully Brian Kelly does have it right by then, right?
I don't know if they
Yeah,
expect him
and-
to have it right by October.
No, but
Week
and it's
6.
Tennessee like making that next leap. I'd imagine. Is
Yeah.
what they, and you don't play them every year, so it's just like, ooh, this is one to
Yeah.
circle on the
Yeah.
calendar
Sure.
for sure.
Absolutely. And, I mean, Tennessee's making strides, man. I mean, look, they're opening up their bank account. They're paying, I mean, they're doing the NIL stuff. I mean, they've got the quarterback that they're paying nearly $8 million to, so reportedly.
Is he on campus
NIL.
now? Or is he? I guess he
No,
would
he'll
have
be a
to
summer enrollee.
That's what NIL is, right? You sign, yeah. That makes sense. Name, image, and likeness hadn't played it down here.
So I don't know. I mean, do you agree? We'll go through some of the comments and see. Cody Boudreaux checking in with a $10 super chat. Cody, imitation is the greatest compliment that you can find, and somebody has made a troll account for you, buddy. So congratulations,
It's
you've made
totally
it.
Rigo.
You've made it. Is there a trap game on the schedule for LSU? Patrick Kemery, trap games are set up with high expectations. LSU has none. Andrew Moeller, 2010 was the last Tennessee LSU game in Baton Rouge.
10. Jeez.
yeah. That was nuts, man. That was nuts. That was one of the wildest moments in LSU football history. In just that snapshot of a moment there. with that LSU team.
Could you imagine what was going through T-Bob's brains? Like, okay, I'm just hiking it. I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you ain't going to blame me.
you know, I'm getting this thing. If I hold on to it, I'll look real dumb.
Yeah, right.
So I'm just gonna send it 50 yards over his head.
Even though I thought T-Bob did such a solid for our guy Les Miles, and it could have ended that day for Miles.
Yeah, maybe this might be T-Bob's fault.
If T-Bob doesn't snap it that day, I think they fire Miles.
Really?
Sure.
Oh.
I mean, because people forget that was the Ole Miss thing had already happened.
Oh, okay.
Like the Ole Miss debacle, and not only had it already, like it was like a year in the rearview mirror. You know what I mean? Like it was coming back to haunt him, man. I mean, he was subbing wide receivers onto the field during that sequence.
Five people. He was bringing five in.
Absolutely no idea what he was doing, and that was the reg for Miles. I mean,
The chaos.
he had no clue. He just lucked himself into a lot of situations at LSU. I mean, he was a good recruiter. You know, I mean, he was able to.
How.
I don't either. I have no idea how somebody's, people, how they just weren't looking across the table like, ain't no way we're trusting this buffoon. I mean, this guy can't even complete a sentence.
Yeah, take my kid for 4 years. It'll be fun.
Nuts, man.
Yeah, it's a weird article. It's interesting. Everybody's opinions and predictions.
Well,
On the traps?
Yeah.
Yeah.
obviously, with Corey Connor into the portal, then immediately to Cincinnati, what do you think, like how LSU, they said they're not done in the portal yet. Like they said that they're still looking for players. You mentioned the lack of depth. Are they doing the same thing that you would imagine that Cincinnati was doing, which is talking to them while they're still enrolled in school? And obviously,
yes. I don't know if you're talking directly to players.
You're
I think that
talking
the
to the
players,
guy.
the uncles, the aunt, you know what I mean? You're talking to somebody.
Uncle Al.
And there's, I mean, like in recruiting, you know, I mean, one thing that I think that we always kind of believed, but now I think it's even more important, is the relationships that you form throughout that process to hang on to so you can resource them around times like this, you know, where you can text a brother, an uncle, a dad, you know, a girlfriend, somebody that you have formed that relationship with in the process and gotten close to the prospect on and said, hey, is he happy at LSU, Georgia, Cincinnati, Kentucky, wherever they are, you know, and say, and, you know, I mean, if one person's like, he's kind of, well, you let him know.
Keep pulling on that string.
Absolutely. That when he's ready, we're ready for him. And I think, you know, I mean, that's a simple conversation around a dinner table. Hey, we heard from LSU today. And if you're not happy where you are, they said they'd love to have you. You know, I mean, I definitely think that stuff is happening every minute of every day in college football.
Because LSU's got to snag a tight end. And
Tight end and offensive line, maybe tight end, offensive
more-
lineman, defensive back.
How many spots do they have left? Do you know?
3. I think
Three?
they have
Oh, okay.
3. 2. They just handed one. Jaden Daniels took
Oh, yes.
Jaden Daniels took one. So they've got 2 spots left.
So you would think.
I would
You've
say
listed 3 positions.
Yeah, and I would say from a priority standpoint, it's probably how you reeled them off. I think it's probably tight end, offensive line, defensive back, and you're just looking for the best players at those positions. And you still, you know, I mean, look, man, college football is a brutal game. College sports is a brutal game. You can still walk up to somebody in that locker room, and I don't know if this is something that Brian Kelly wants to do in his first year, but you know, you find somebody in the portal that's can play and can help. You can walk to somebody that's maybe, you know, 84th, 85th on that scholarship list and say, hey, we need that scholarship. Sorry, you know what I mean? We'll keep you on the team as a walk-on. I think that's what they did to Pig.
Yeah.
You know?
That's got to be the hardest part of the job.
It's got to be.
After you've given one to be like, actually,
Right.
sit down.
Well, I mean, we all lose sight, or, you know, I mean, I don't know how much we put into, but they're one-year deals.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you get offered a scholarship, it's really for 1 year. There's a renewal of a scholarship every single year. And, you know, that has to be brutal to not get the renewal.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's got to be a very hard conversation.
Did Jacob Hester name one of his kids after Les Miles?
He did.
Is
did.
his name Les or Miles?
Is it his,
I
what
want to
is?
say it's Miles. I think it's his middle name is Miles.
That's what I thought. I think it was
Yeah.
a middle name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of the middle names is Miles. yeah, definitely a point of contention between me and old 1-8. For sure. Hey, we've definitely had some discussions in the hall.
I couldn't imagine. I mean,
About the naming of his child.
no,
just
not that. Just his love
the fact
for
that he
Les.
likes Les.
Yeah, he
He
has to.
still-
He gave him the
does he
rock.
Still
Yeah.
love him?
Yeah,
He still,
yeah,
he
absolutely.
Still supports.
Absolutely.
They had a different relationship than we had with Les.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
Make sure to hit that like and share button. We have just gotten confirmation that Malik Neighbors will be here at noon today, so we will go live with Malik to talk a little bit about spring football, what's been going on with him. One of the breakout players, man. It feels like Malik is kind of set to have a really bust-out type of year. So if you want to check that conversation out, set your programming alerts for noon today. We will be live right here at noon with Malik Neighbors as he'll stop by here with us. Remember, Steele Henry and Hargrove Roofing. Know who's on your roof. Call Steele at 318-229-7266. 318-229-7266 to get in touch with the pros over at Hargrove Roofing. They can help you today no matter what your roofing need is. Free inspection from Steele if you want to give them a call.
Make
If you
them
think
climb
you've
up
got
there.
if you think you've got damage, if there's been some weather or some stuff that's come through, if you had some things fall on the roof and you got some questions of whether or not you need a new roof, let Steele Henry decide and tell you today by jumping on your roof. Give them a call, 318-229-7266. 318-229-7266 is the phone number to get in touch with Steele Henry. That is his cell phone number, so jump in and get in touch with him and let him know that you heard right here on the Jordy Culotta show. Cordell Music, Malik is a future number 7 at LSU. He says he's calling it. Shout out to Cordell. We got the gear, bro. It looked great. Thank you for sending it over.
Those are the softest, like perfectly, like thin sweatshirt. Soft.
Great
so
fits.
good.
Great
Love
fits. I
those
wore mine on
sweatshirts.
my bike ride this morning. It
I
was
wore
chilly.
mine all day yesterday.
The Bakers are back. Shout out to the Bakers. It's good to see you here. Thank you for being with us today. Make sure you hit that like and share button, comment button before we get out of here. If you have not subscribed, that helps us out a lot. Hit that subscription button and hit that bell as you will be notified to any programming that comes your way live, like today at noon with Malik Neighbors, LSU standout wide receiver. We'll get the latest
Maybe a Stewie production.
From Malik. Absolutely.
I think it would be a good chance, good
Absolutely.
opportunity on
Absolutely. We'll put Stewie on the steels on the wheels of
DJ,
steel for
yeah.
sure.
Steele Henry.
Did y'all see? It was just on the TV in there. But did y'all see Joe Burrow just
Yes.
playing golf behind that couple doing their photo shoot for
that?
their wedding,
Yeah.
and he's just back there like it's not even happening.
Putting around.
That is hilarious.
Or do you think it was the other way around, where they positioned themselves to have Joe
Probably.
Burrow in the
I
background?
think so.
But I mean, it's like he's oblivious. He doesn't even notice. So it seems like
he
he would
knows.
kind of move away.
He knows they're looking. He knows they're
That's
always
pretty funny, though.
looking.
I do wonder if he does know that, because he seems aloof whenever he's
No, but
not.
I think that's the beautiful part about him.
Yeah.
No, behind closed doors, he knows.
Okay.
Like before he
Because
walks
he was
out.
never supposed to be this famous.
Before he walks out, exactly. Before he walks out, he knows. I mean,
Entourage.
those walks down Victory Hill
Yeah.
with the shades, and I
He knew.
mean the brush back of the hair. I mean, he's a natural, bro. He is a natural at all of that stuff, because 3.5 years ago, he had no idea that he was going to be this famous.
Right. So he never. I guess because he never prepared for it, you just get exactly
I mean,
who
when
he
you
is.
just walk into it, and with his, I think the confidence is what makes him so easy at it, because it's almost like, well, yeah, everybody's looking at me. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely they are. I mean, I'm a stud football player. I'm a good-looking dude. I'm running this city, and he kind of has this, and you know, I mean, he kind of has like behind closed doors that confidence of, I'm doing it the right way. Like, this isn't gonna blow up on me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where it doesn't
nothing for me to
doesn't
second
feel
guess.
like a
Yeah.
house of cards.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it's illegitimate. It all feels like he's putting in the work. He's got the respect of his teammates. The coaches and organization love him. We saw that start to happen here in Baton Rouge and LSU going into his senior season. Really, if you ask people about it, people started to recognize it right when he showed up.
Yep. That's what Moffitt said whenever he came in on Mic'd Up. He was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, they won."
Yeah,
He said
Stringfellow
he-
and those guys that, like, you know, you got to know him early on the recruiting visits. They were like, when they left, you know, the people that were in that video room that Ogeron always tells the story about, when he came on the visit, they closed the door, they watched 3 hours of film, and Job was the smartest guy in the room. People that are in that room were like, you know, they don't tell it like Ogeron is, but they were like, I mean, it was so clear and evident that this guy is so different than anything that LSU had at that position in such a long time, that he was going to change the course of the program. I mean, nobody knew 15-0, natty champs, and setting records and best team ever and all that stuff, number one pick in the draft. But I mean, you got the feeling like
something's happening.
He's going to take it somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is going to be fun.
Coach O's job just got a lot easier.
Yeah.
Maybe too easy.
Have a great day. Hit that like and share button. We'll be back with you at noon today with Malik Neighbor, standout wide receiver for LSU. Make sure you hit that subscription button on YouTube, like and share. We'll be back with you today at around lunchtime.
I gotta get my boat.
Yeah, you see that.
Brutal.
Cocaine-filled boat.
Yeah. Gotta call a couple people.
1 ton?
1 ton?
1 ton of cocaine on that boat.
I guess that seems like
That's a lot of people are upset. Because that's 1 ton is going to a couple of different people.
I mean, a continent is
Yes.
upset. Spanish police have detained a fishing boat loaded with nearly 3 metric tons of cocaine south of the Canary
What
Islands.
else was on the boat? I think just cocaine.
Authorities told the AP on Sunday. The police intercepted a 65-foot vessel called the AKT-1
AK-47.
on Wednesday around about 500 miles south of on the Atlantic Ocean off of West Africa. Police arrested the crew of 5 members, 4 Turkish citizens and 1 person from the ex-Soviet Republic of Georgia on the ship was smuggling the drugs in a fuel tank. The drugs were believed to come from an unspecified location in South America. A Spanish air patrol spotted the suspicious vessel as it was trying to hide among a fleet of fishing vessels. It was boarded by customs.
That's the best part. They were just
trying
trying to.
Yeah, they're just trying to kind of just keep it steady,
keep it
bud.
going, boys.
Just keep it steady.
They should have just slashed it open and took off and just blasted everybody. with coke.
Everybody, yeah.
Because then
Good
nobody
Lord.
would be mad.
No.
Where do you take that to like?
3 tons?
I mean, it's not like you can just get a 65-foot boat out of the water.
You pull
You know what I
up
mean?
somewhere at night to some port, I guess, and
Oh,
start
you said how do
unloading
you
it.
arrest them?
No, not how do you arrest
do
them.
you
Like, how do you
get it
get
where it's
how do
going?
you get the 3 tons of blow off the boat?
Off the boat, yeah.
You know what
I don't
I mean?
think they
Like,
thought that far ahead.
I mean, like,
Middle of the night type stuff, right? I mean, if
You
it's
know
in
what
the
we
you
got to
do.
distribute this stuff,
Yeah.
fellas.
Well, we'll do a little cocaine. We'll figure it out. I'll get to work.
Right? Exactly. Hold on a minute.
You have so much
I'll tell you
energy.
in a minute.
That's right.
Well, it's in a fuel tank, so I guess they just unload it, and everybody working on the boat knows what's really going on. And
Or like if they had a location, like if they were in a boat with that much coke, they had
have a
somebody that
plan.
was buying
They
it.
have a plan.
Like they
Yeah.
had a buyer.
Maybe
They
you
were
just
probably
give the buyer the boat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
They'd probably cover the cost.
yeah, right. You got the
Or
cash?
maybe, like other boats.
We'll
probably
throw the
come
boat
up-
in.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like
other
they
boats
drop it
come
in the
up to
water.
you, right, and you unload some.
Smart
Yeah,
thing.
that's gotta be a tip off.
Ah, but you got to
I
distribute
mean,
it somehow.
yeah, I know,
It's
but
a
I mean,
lot.
3 tons of blow. Can you imagine the walk up on that to get rid of it? I mean, like,
Disappointment.
if we're just doing $100 deals here, man, we're gonna be here for a long
Hey.
time. We need somebody to start buying kilos off of us. I mean, can anybody get in touch with Pablo Escobar? I mean, can we dig this guy up?
Can I get a
I
gram?
mean, we've got right, exactly,
No.
exactly. Mind shaving me off a little bit?
Yeah, just go check the gas tank, dude.
Yeah, right, dude.
But do you think that there's ever a moment where, like, dude, we're gonna get away with this? We're scot free.
Absolutely.
I mean, dude, if it's coming from South America and we made it to Spain,
Yeah, they thought they
you know
were
what I
getting away
mean?
with it.
Like, and we're in with the
Rolling
fishing
along,
vessels,
yeah.
bro. I mean, like, we might pull this thing off.
It's about to only be 2 tons if we get home with this thing, boys.
Right?
A little bit.
Jeez.
So you know,
Awesome.
you think you've got problems?
Yeah.
You know, you didn't get arrested with 3 tons of cocaine
Did you
over the
lose 3
weekend.
tons of cocaine.
Yeah,
then you
I
don't
guess
have
that's
problems.
life, huh? In prison.
The arrestees, they probably want to be dead, huh? Because, I mean, to make that phone call back to the boss, whoever sent them on the mission with the 3 tons of blow, like, hey, how'd it go? I'm
You're
in the
receiving
Spanish
a
port
collect-
right
yeah.
now, boss.
Would you like to accept the charges?
You have a collect
A call
from.
Well, at that point, you just give it out. You give up the information. You wrap it up.
Oh, Katie.
Katie,
You have to save your
do
life.
Did you see that story in New York City?
You don't save your life when you tell on people with 3 tons of cocaine.
But
Yeah,
you
it's
can't have
over.
that.
It's over.
It's over.
Yeah.
It is kind of on the
no,
boss.
you go into witness protection or something like that.
They'll find you.
They don't have that in other countries,
Yeah,
Katie.
they'll find
It's
you.
not the U.S.
I don't know, but
Got to do
I
something.
mean, did you see
Kind
that
of
story?
on
Did you
the-
see that story out of New York City?
uh-uh.
Where the wife on Friday night is home alone. The father and the oldest son are out seeing colleges, and there's a 13-year-old son there, and they find her chopped up
I saw that.
in a duffel bag in a park 6 blocks from her house. And they've got a image of somebody just like walking her out of the house. And then the father gets a text message from her phone saying that the whole family is next.
I think he did it.
That was my first. That was
It's
my first
always
thought.
the significant other.
That's my first thought.
It's always.
And they kind of throwing him off. You think they're throwing off the set with the message?
Absolutely. He's trying to throw it
I
off.
thought he was at the colleges.
Allegedly. I always tell David, I was like, if anything happens to me, you know you're going down.
Yeah, you're
Oof.
first.
I mean, you're out.
Well, you have two choices.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. You're right.
50-50.
Yeah. So y'all are safe because I'll be going
Yeah.
for those two first. And then probably y'all.
Wait, so they walked her out of the building?
I'm singing on David.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a duffel bag, though.
Oh, no, they
let
said she
me-
didn't walk
let-
out, walk out.
Let me get the story.
no, right?
No.
Yeah,
They
she was
chopped her
already
up.
chopped up.
Oh, okay. So they did. Oh man, you have to do that in somebody else's house.
Well, it was in his own
No,
house.
no, it was in her own house.
I know if it's not the husband, then this person came in like it had to be the husband. You have to get the lay of the land and like where to put
Yes.
somebody
Detectives
down.
have identified a person of interest in Ursula Gale's murder investigation. The Queen's mother of two, and I'm getting this from the independent.uk website. The Queen's mother of two was stabbed 58 times in her basement in her home before her killer placed her body in a duffel bag and left her remains in a nearby park early Saturday morning. Police followed a trail of blood from the bag that led them about a half a mile to an upscale gated community in Forest Hills. Citing unnamed police sources, several news outlets reported that the NYPD had identified a male who was known to Miss Gale and had access to her Juneau Street home as a person of interest. Miss Gale's husband, Howard Klein, the eldest son of Jamie, were out of state and his eldest son, Jamie. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're say Jamie
Yes,
doesn't. I
sorry,
don't want my
sorry.
name in
Yeah,
this
right.
thing. Like piece of
Jesus,
shit.
get me out of it. We're out of the state at the time of the murder. Her youngest son was at the family home and has reportedly been ruled out as a suspect.
Oh,
God,
he was
he was
probably
home?
yeah, he was probably playing
13
video
years old.
games. Yeah, upstairs
Oh,
or
no,
something.
y'all,
and
The
that's
didn't even-
suspect is
sketchy.
believed to have sent several chilling text messages to Miss Gale's husband, Howard Klein, who was out of state with the couple's eldest son. As Gale said that it feels like something out of TV because after the Friday night murder, the husband got a text message from the wife's phone saying that the entire family is next.
How do you have a 13-year-old at home and you're going to get stabbed 58 times and then carried out in a duffel bag and that kid never notices?
Sharp force injuries of the neck.
You know what
something's
13-year-olds
up
are
with
doing.
that. I know. I have them in my house. I mean, if somebody came in and stabbed me 58 times and
He's
then
got
took-
headphones in.
I mean, come on, though. Like, I don't know. I'm not buying it. This is very sketchy. It's an inside job.
What do you do if you get the
What if
text
the
that you're
13-year-old
next?
did
Do
it?
I have to uproot my life?
The suspect, believed to have murdered the 51-year-old Queen's mother, sent her husband a chilling text message saying, "Your whole family is next. Your wife sent me to jail some years ago. I'm back." The killer reportedly said in another text message. Miss Gale studied business in her native Hungary and had more recently been a stay-at-home mother.
What did she do to send somebody to jail? It doesn't say.
I don't know.
You'd think they would put that in there. Like, however many years ago, she reported this guy. I mean, and there's the guy, allegedly,
Right. We have another suspect now.
a 13-year-old.
No, he's out.
He's not listed as a suspect.
Not
No,
anymore.
no.
I
He
mean,
was.
people kill their parents, you know.
Yeah, it happens. All right, have a great day. Hit that like and share button.
That's where the Coke was headed.
Mom,
You blew
you
it.
blew it. I wanted to blow it.
Literally.